Welcome back, everyone. Here are 7 tips to improve your SAT score fast. And jumping right into it because I do not want to waste your guys' time, the first tip is to master your own weaknesses. So what exactly do I mean by this? Guys, everyone has their pitfalls when it comes to SAT. Some people suck at reading, some people suck at math, some people aren't good with linear equations, some people aren't good with quadratics. Whatever your weaknesses are, find them and do everything you possibly can to target these weaknesses. And this is how the exact process will go. You take a practice test, you write down all the problems you get wrong and as well as what topics they belong to. Do they belong to a part of algebra? Do they belong to past or advanced mathematics? Right? Whatever they belong to. Then what I want you to do is hop on Khan Academy and go to each of these topics, right? With linear equations, quadratics, and do those 5 questions again and again and again until you get 15 questions in a row correct. And that's when you know that, all right, I'm probably pretty good at this topic. And then the next time you take a practice test, hopefully what should happen is you don't make the same mistakes for those topics again. And you want to repeat the same process over and over again until you are able to master your own weaknesses and not make those same mistakes. Maybe find new mistakes and repeat the process with those mistakes as well. So now you're basically plugging in all the holes in your brain to the point where your brain is a SAT mastermind. The next tip is to take official practice tests. Okay, there are a lot of practice tests being administered from other institutes like there's a Berkeley Institute, Varsity Tutors, Kaplan. The problem with these tests and what they don't tell you in fact is that these tests are actually what you call sandbags, right? And sandbags are basically tests that are way harder than your actual SAT you'll be taking. Just so when you get that 1,000 score on that Varsity Tutors practice exam, you're like, dang, I suck right at SAT. But in actuality, the exam was just way harder, which is why your score was so low. But the actual exam, if you were to take it that same day, you'd probably have a 1,200. The reason they do that is because that way it looks like you improved a lot, right? When they give you your final SAT, which is probably a real SAT, they're like, look, you got 1,000 on the first one, and now you got 1,400. And this sandbag thing is a tactic a lot of these SAT institutes do, which is why you want to just focus on the real practice tests that are administered by College Board. You can find 10 of them on College Board's website, and a lot of them have been taken down for whatever reason. So to get those exams, just go CDN HubSpot, and they have every single SAT exam from College Board administered, even the ones that are no longer available on the College Board website. Learn test-taking strategies. Okay, at the end of the day, guys, the SAT is an exam. Yes, there's a lot of math tricks that talk about my math course. There's a lot of reading tricks that talk about my reading course. But at the end of the day, these are just tricks for the SAT, tailored for the SAT. That help you solve a linear equation problem faster, help you understand a science passage easier. But at the end of the day, there's some basic testing strategies that apply to the SAT, just like any other exam. So such as process elimination, reading the questions first before the passage. When 2 questions are extremely similar, they both can't be right, so they're both wrong. Simple testing strategies like this is something that you can benefit a lot from if you learn them, right? And if you go on Google and do a quick search of best 10 test-taking strategies, study those strategies and apply them to the SAT. And these strategies really come in handy when you're left at that 50-50 shot. You're like, ooh, is it A or is it D, right? Just knowing a testing strategy can make the difference between selecting the right answer and the wrong answer. You must improve your time management on the SAT because what happens is a lot of students run out of time. It's something that every student struggles with when they first take the SAT because they don't have a good sense of how long they should be spending on each problem. So they usually may go too fast on a problem and get it wrong, or they go way too slow and they run out of time. So the best way to improve your time management is just to time yourself on simple SAT practice tests, right? And don't take the entire exam. Just take a non-calc on Monday and do the reading on Wednesday and do the calc on Friday. But just time yourself on each of these parts. How long are you taking? On non-calc, are you able to finish it under 10 minutes? That's the ideal time frame. Are you able to finish it under 15 minutes? That's also a really good time frame. 15 to 20, okay, you still have a lot of time. You're given 25 minutes, but if you're at the point where you're able to understand every trick, every pattern, every tip on the SAT Math, and you actually understand them fully, you should be able to finish the entire SAT Math non-calc within 10 to 15 minutes. I do it in 5 personally, so if you want to get at that level, study a little more, you can finish every SAT non-calc in 5-10 minutes. And then for the last 15 minutes, you can just draw SpongeBob or something on your paper. Work on your vocabulary. Guys, for some reason, and I honestly thought that the words on the SAT were common words that a lot of people understand, but some students, after I tutor them, they're like, what does this word mean? Or when we're faced with a vocabulary question, they're like, what does this word mean? Oh, I don't understand this word. And I'm like, these words are kind of simple. But then I remember that everyone, is coming from a different educational system. What I think is simple, they might think is hard, and vice versa. What they think is simple, I might think is hard. So these vocabulary words that are on the SAT, they're not too hard, they're not too complex, but they are above your average everyday language that you probably use with your friends or even your teachers or your parents. right? So I would just search up the quick search of like 100 SAT vocabulary words to remember, and if you're able to remember those 100 words, you should be pretty good. And a lot of the words you're gonna already know, so don't think there's 100 words you gotta study, like, oh my god, there's a lot of words. Half of them, maybe even 80%, you're already gonna know. It's just that last 20% you don't want to get fooled by, so it's better just to learn those words before it's too late. And you look on SAT test and you're like, whoa, what does this word mean? Well, if you had just studied it from that website, you're like, oh, vociferous means very loud. There you go. And now this is more of a mental tip, but this is something that applies to a lot of students, and that's to stay calm and positive. Okay, a lot of students for some reason think SAT is the end all be all, right? You get a bad score, it's it. Like, they're not going to college, it's over. We're going to community college. That's not exactly how it works, guys, because one, you take the SAT over again. You're taking the August SAT, right? You can also take the November SAT or the October SAT and the December SAT. There's other SATs that you can take. So do not think this is the end all be all. Any student who takes the August SAT, whether they're rising senior or younger than that, have a chance to take another SAT before applying to college, regardless. So do not stress, you can always take the SAT again. And as well as most college admission processes are holistic. So while your SAT score might be bad, as long as you have a good GPA and very good extracurriculars and your essay, college essay is amazing, you can get to any school you want to. Now, even if you're going to Harvard, MIT, you're trying to go for those top schools, yes, a SAT score, a really good one, will be needed. But if the average SAT score is 1,500, you get a 1,400, it's not the end of the day. In fact, my sister went to Stanford, she got 1,400 on her SAT, but still got in, so it's possible. And I got 1,540 and I got rejected, so. Yeah. And now this right here is one of the most slept on tips, right? Which literally can make or break your entire SAT test day. That is proper nutrition on test day and proper sleep the night before. If you're studying until like 3 a.m. and you wake up at 6 a.m., your brain is gonna be so tired that a lot of the stuff that would be easy that you would get right like 10 out of 10 times, you're gonna be getting wrong because your brain is not at an optimal level. You want your brain to be at an optimal level where it can solve the problems that you can solve on your practice sessions the same way, right? Where it's not pressure to do anything else because you're just so tired. It's like trying to force answers and try to think of like possibilities that don't exist. And that's just happening when you're tired. So don't be tired, right? Make sure you take a proper sleep the night before. Don't study until like 3 a.m. Max, you should only be studying 2-3 hours a day before test day. Very light studying, very easy studying, just reviewing concepts, not really learning anything new. And on test day, you want to carb up, right? You want to take as many carbs as possible. Eat your banana, eat your bread, right? Don't eat too much because what's going to happen is you might get a little nervous on test day. Like when you have to sit down for the exam, you're going to vomit. You're going to feel like really queasy and you don't want to feel bad at all, whether it be mental, sleep deprivation, or like your stomach feels weird. You want to be fully optimal in all ways. So what I recommend is, a balanced breakfast, a little more carbs so you have the energy, and just knock out that exam and get the exact score you want, hopefully better, right? And ultimately, just get that 1,600 and go to the college of your dreams. That's all we want. So be sure to implement these 7 SAT test taking strategies and tips and use them on test day, while you're studying, anywhere you can, and get that goal score. Thank you all for watching. Peace.